Hey guys, how's it going? Lucky here, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. I enjoyed making the last one, so I thought, hey, might as well make a new one. You know, show my latest deck I'm playing with, and throw some test footage in it against some of the meta decks and other ones I thought were funny. So, here we go. So the deck I'm talking about is Mayakashi, one of the latest sets, one of the latest groups of cards from the latest packet, Hidden Summoners. They're another set of zombie cards, this one basically working off a Syncro ladder, where one goes into the other and so on and so on. I think there are 5 in total, and it's really fun to play, so let's get into it. The main card of the deck is Hajin. You run this at 3, it basically specs out another Mayakashi from your deck, which normally you would get the tuner out, which is Darky. Now Darky is bloody brilliant. It's a level 2 tuner, immediately goes into the level 3 with Hajin, which is this one here, and its effect is when a Mayakashi is special summoned from the extra deck, you can special summon it back from the graveyard. And no, this is not a once per turn. You can loop it and do an entire ladder up to the very fucking top. It is brilliant. Then you play 2 of the wheeled Mayakashi, whose effect is basically when it is normal to special summon, target a Mayakashi in graveyard and special it. It's actually quite useful. A lot of people don't really run it, and if they do, they run it at 1, but I run it in 2 because you can pretty much... You don't really use the number 3 because its effect is not that great and its defense isn't that great either. So if you've got a Darky in the graveyard that you send there via other card effects, you can normal summon the wheeled Mayakashi and spec the Darky and immediately go into the level 5 Syncro and push up to the 11, making your way to the Link Monster. Next is one of the poisonous Mayakashi. His effect is basically... If a Mayakashi is destroyed, you can special summon it from graveyard. It's another level 2 tuner, so it's also another way to get into this Syncro ladder, which is so important. Then you run some of the basic zombie engine. You run 3 of your solitaires, which are solely used to get out your uni zombies. You run 1 Spirit Master, because the Mayakashis have an effect where if, for example, the level 11 is destroyed, the level 9's effect activates in grave, where I can banish a zombie monster from my grave, spec this one to the field. The Mayakashi Synchros don't have any effects on field, they're just beat sticks, but if a Mayakashi 2 levels above is destroyed, they can spec themselves when they special summon, they get an effect. So for example, the 3 is Mayakashi can't be destroyed by battle, the number 5 is you mill 3 from deck, 7 is you destroy a spell and trap card, 9's pop a monster, and the 11 is that card is immune to card effects for that turn, which is pretty awesome. You banish that, you also get to pop a monster on their side of the field. Win, win, win. Then you run your 3 uni zombies. Basically, you can send your Hajin from deck to the grave to bring it back via one of the reborn cards, or you can get your 3 Mizukis to the graveyard to use their effects to spec one of your Mayakashis back from grave. Then, obviously, you run 3 of them. After that, we've got the hand traps. I only run 2 of each because... normally you OTK with this deck, so you don't really need to stall off. It's normally like, if you have one in your first hand, great. If you have one later on, it's a tuner, I guess. So that's it for the monsters. Onto the spell cards. You run 1 for 1, because you can ditch a Mizuki, or you can ditch any of the other ones, and immediately get Hajin out, which specs out Darky, gets you into the ladder. You run 3 of their new spell card, Mayakashi Revolt, which adds a Mayakashi card to your hand, or you can send it to the graveyard, one or the other. So if you've got reborn cards in the graveyard and you've already used your normal summon, frickin' mill it to the grave, Mizuki it, or bring it back with something. Then some of the one-offs, I run 1 Soul Charge, because if you have all of them in the graveyard, specking all of them, chaining them so the number 3 activates last, you get 2 pops, a mill, and an immunity that can't be negated. Unless they negate the entire summon, but that's very rare. 1 Foolish Burial, again, get Mizuki or a Hajin to the graveyard, or a Darky if you've got a wheeled Mayakashi in your hand. Monster Reborn, it's a given. 2 World Legacy Successions, because you run the Mayakashi Link, so you get to spec one of these into the Link Zone, because you go from 3, 5 all the way to the top, and then after 11 you go into the Link. Then you run 3 Shiranui style Swallow Slash. Saying that really quickly, that's difficult. Basically, you tribute a zombie monster, destroy 2 cards on the field, so you can just get rid of Darky, because you will already have had your ladder, you don't need it on the field anymore. Pop Darky, destroy 2 cards, banish Spirit Master pops a 3rd. If you already have Spirit Master banned, get rid of Solitaire will bring back Spirit Master. Then I run 1 tongue-tied. One Mayakashi Metamorphosis, which is a reborn card. You discard a card, spec a Mayakashi. It's immune to cards, or it can't be targeted, I think. Yeah, it can't be targeted until the end of the go. 3 back to the front, just because spec a 1 to pop a monster, spec 1 to pop the spell, or if you have some on the field that are about to get destroyed, make them immune to being destroyed by battle. It's brilliant. And then because all of these activate in the grave or work off special summoning, and you don't want to get hand trapped, I run 3 Call of the Grave, because, you know, stop it before it gets into a problem, or you can stop an opponent's play. Now onto the extra deck. So starting at the number 3, well, you run 2 of each. So you've got 2 of the number 3s to stop can't be destroyed battle, 2 of the mill ones, 2 of the pop spells, 2 of the monsters, and 2 of the immunities. And then on top of that, you run 2 of the Mayakashi Link, Yugioh. Is it Owner? Yes, it is. Awesome, I remembered that. Effect is basically, it can't be targeted for an attack while it has a Syncro in the zones it points to. If a Syncro monster is destroyed by battle or a card effect while this card is on the field, I can target a monster on their side of the field, and its attack and defense become half of its current attack and defense, not original, until the end of the turn. So, worst comes to worst, if they have like a Boral Sword and they've not got many life points left, and you've got like one of these guys, Suicide Bomb it into it, activate its effect, halve your opponent's Boral Sword's attack, and then just run into it a few times. It's pretty awesome. Then 3 of the generic, which you use quite a lot of Boral Sword, Unicorn, just to get over some of those risky plays, and a Phoenix if you want some extra back row popping. But the issue with the normal ones is you can't summon them very often, because Hajin and quite a lot of them have a side effect where it's you can't special summon monsters from the extra deck that turn apart from Mayakashis. So you need to use these like before anything if you're planning on using them. But this deck is very consistent. It's very easy to get it started because there are so many cards that can just send it, add it to hand, or just bring it back from grave. So it's extremely consistent. I do have 3 cards in the side deck which I've tried testing out, which feel free to use yourself, but I'm not really a massive fan of. Book of Life. It's just another reborn card. However, it does require your opponent to have a card in their graveyard as well, which is a shame, because if you're going first and you want to set up a board, you can't use this. It could be dead in hand, whereas these, you'll always be able to use them. Gozuki, just for if you've used your normal summon and you still have a milling card, you can send it from your deck to the grave, activate its effect to spec from your hand by banishing a monster. But again, Unizombie does the job better, and it's searchable through Solitaire, so most of the time it's not really needed. And then Shiranui Samurai, mainly because the Synchro monsters have to ban a monster in order to special summon themselves. So, you banish your Shiranui Samurai, you can target one Shiranui in your graveyard, add it back to your hand. So preferably Solitaire, so you can get Unizombie back out and send Mizuki to the graveyard. Yeah. But now, let's go into some testing. I played against ThunderDragon, Dark Magician, etc. I'm just going to leave it to play. I'll put timestamps in so you know exactly where things are, but this deck's freaking sick.